afternoon to all the participants and the dear panelists. Before I begin the session, let me just put in a context to it, and we'll try and make it quick and ensure that we don't stand between your lunch and the session. This session is about employee experience, enhancing well-being and engagement. Now, for me, this is a strategic approach within the organizations focused on actively creating a positive and supporting work environment. So today, the panel is going to deliberate on this, and we've subdivided the session for ease of discussion into 3 parts. But before I go there, I want to do full justice to my panelists and the experience they bring on board. Allow me to introduce each one of them. So our first panelist is Rajeev. Rajeev is a people's leader who in his career has curated and nurtured collaborative partnerships between stakeholders across GCC, FMCG, and financial services business. He builds an objective-driven learning organization that goes beyond geographical barriers and embraces practices that enable the future of work. Please help me welcome him with a loud applause. Sorry. I think I need lunch as well. Our second participant panelist is Aditya Kohli. Aditya is passionate about technology, especially how it impacts people, and you'll hear a lot about it in his sharing. He has leveraged people, culture, technology, and networks to drive performance in consumer durable banking and technology sectors. Please give a round of applause to Aditya. Gayatri Das, our third panelist. Sorry, I will introduce Sunaina first. Sunaina Mattoo Khanna is a great architect when it comes to designing how best organizations work. She's known as a trusted advisor to the management, driving innovation, HR practices, for which she got industry recognition like awards for great places to work for 4 consecutive years. And recently, they've bagged the best use of AI. So the right panel to be in. Thank you. With this, I'd like to introduce Gayatri Das. Gayatri has strong change management experience and has been instrumental in implementing these initiatives across FMCG, retail, pharma, and edtech sectors. A round of applause for Gayatri, please. Sushil Baveja needs no introduction. He is a people-centric leader. He's experienced in aligning HR agenda with business goals, focused on building a future-ready organization where employees feel valued, respected, cared, and connected both rationally and emotionally. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about this in 3 parts. The first section is on employee well-being. And our objective as a panel is to bring you strategic insights, practical things that have been implemented and have worked for these organizations. The second segment is about impact of technology on new hires, onboarding and training. The third being conclusive with improving social connectivity. I request the audience to hold their questions till the end to allow for a meaningful conversation with the panelists, and then we'll take your questions and answers. Is that okay with all of you? Thank you. So my first question to you, Rajeev. When we speak of employee well-being, and here we're talking about, the major segment of the audience being Gen Z and millennials, what are the 3 factors or 3 key definitions of well-being for them?
I think before we talk about Gen Zs or millennials, if you look at the foundation of well-being, I would say there is the physical well-being, the social well-being, mental well-being. We've also added 2 additional ones. One is financial well-being, and 5th one would be purposeful. And the way the 2 sets of audience react to that also goes a long way in defining what it means for them and what are the tools an organization would use to kind of address that. So for example, if you look at financial well-being, it could mean very different things for millennial versus a Gen Z. For one, it could be budget for traveling. For another one, it could be actually owning a house. Very, very different targets you may have. There's also a Deloitte survey on purpose, which talks about how both the segments align on purposeful nature of the organization. You know, they are candidates who have been known to turn down offers if they feel the organization's purpose doesn't align with what they want to do.
Okay.
And this is something which we are seeing, particularly in Gen Zs, is coming up in a big way. And I would also talk about mental health. Again, the way, mental health, the tools and I would say different organizations kind of approach it differently. The way a millennial would kind of approach a mental health issue and the support they require would be very different from the way a Gen Z would kind of look at it from that. So I think, again, the foundations are very critical in terms of how these two audience segments, the population segments, respond to well-being.
All right. So my next question to you would be, knowing their dependence on day-to-day work for the technology, how would you, or let me rephrase, would you use AI or technology, and how do you use it to promote well-being? What are the technology options that are available within your organization?
One of the things which we've noticed is that the AI has a direct impact on the offtake of a particular initiative which you do. So, for example, we are going to be launching a mental health chatbot called Visa, which is 24/7. You can interact with it anytime you want, anonymously, and get a wide range of mental health benefits from that. We have also recently introduced, a tool called Econ Care, and within 2 days we had some 400 sign-ups, and it is again a health wellness platform, which again goes to show that both the millennials as well as the Gen Zs warm up to the use of AI and the convenience it offers.
Right, that's interesting. I would want to lead this on to Aditya. Aditya, would you like to share one of the strategic initiatives where technology has helped to improve the well-being of your resources?
So I think that's a very good initiative. One is there is a lot of awareness today than there's ever been before, right? So people are very open to experimenting. We're pretty open to being on the platform, and the way we kind of look at this is we've got EAP tools, and we've got bots which drive constant conversations with our employees. But I think what has really helped is creating very specific targeted platforms within the organization. So we've got a platform which caters to women health, and that as a platform has worked very well, which gets a number of people on. And from a technology perspective, we use workplace, we use defined groups to kind of discuss. So those become a very good way of not only getting information but disseminating information also. And I think today there's just so much information that's available. It's about curating it, making it bite-size available. That kind of helps.
Fair enough. Thank you. Gayatri, would you like to add on something more about the strategic initiatives at Pepsi?
I think very similar to what Rajeev mentioned. PepsiCo's wellness hub is based on 4 pillars of financial, physical, social, and emotional well-being. And as an organization, we launched something called as PepFit. Okay, and it was a very beautiful way of curating personalized well-being offerings, not just to a particular generation, but the diverse group of individuals who work for the organization. And let me just give you a simple example, right? We have got a platform which is called Lyra, which not only caters to emotional well-being, but also goes above and beyond, extending financial well-being offerings, legal offerings, right? I mean, nobody would think of it when it comes to well-being first, but we did come across some of these insights during our wellness survey. Similarly, very similar to what Rajeev mentioned, we have integrated that with some of the physical well-being apps like Econ Care. And this year we have gone ahead, apart from OPD consultations, the blood test reports that we do from a physical well-being standpoint, we have kind of integrated that with an element of fitter. Okay, so as an organization, it has worked out really well for us, and very surprising to say, because most of our frontline workers, when I talk of sales and manufacturing setup, the kind of feedback that we have got, the highest uptake is from them. Okay, I mean, typically when we talk of shop floor, we don't imagine people working in a manufacturing setup will be so tech frenzy, but we have seen PepFit has the highest adoption at the front end. And to just add on to that, as part of our total reward offering, what we've done is we've kept a certain kitty in terms of our expenses, or I would say as part of our CTC as PepFit wallet. And what it typically does is if you want to go beyond this, there are certain offerings from your well-being standpoint. If you want to buy a bike, a cycling bike, or probably a certain gear for sports, the organization offers you that flexibility.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Could you pass on the mic to, okay, she has it. Sunaina, you've been with Bajaj for a long time. So tell us, how was technology, or tell us some initiatives, recent initiatives, which have enabled the well-being of the resources?
Surely. So, Bajaj Capital, as you know, we are a legacy organization, promoter-driven, promoter-led organization. And if I have to go 5 years back, I would say that we were very rigid about not giving up the touch piece, because when it comes to money matters, I think it can't be all done by AI or tech. So we retained the hybrid part of it. So we are still physical and digital both. But last 5 years has been tremendous in terms of the digital transformation. Now, I'll be very specific. What AI has done to us is not only kept our employees well engaged, but it also increased our efficiency by 25 to 30%. Wow. We'll be very specific with the recent developments in AI, and which were kind of a trendsetter in the industry. One is that, we adopted one of our AI-backed application monitoring system, and this is observability platform, which was developed with the help of one of the India's leading tech giants for us. Now, what this AI-backed powerful tool does for us is it keeps monitoring our key applications across. And it gives us real insights. It not only gives us insights, but also helps, it enhances, and very quickly, it not only identifies the problem, but also resolves the problem at the same time. So it has reduced a lot of stress when it comes to, you might have seen developers, engineers, always under the stress, "Arey, ye fat gaya, arey, wo fat gaya, now that piece is gone." So a lot of stress has gone down, and this application is taking care of all our critical applications and keeping them up and running. Second is the AI augmented business campaigns. So you can Google it. This is hashtag Bless Me Ganesha. This is one of the award-winning campaigns that we launched. What it did is it blended the AI with the creativity of almost 3,500 employees across. We got almost 1.5 million impressions in 5 days, 3 lakh votes. And this kind of an innovation not only fostered engagement, but also it fostered a deep cultural connect, not only with, within the employees, but also within the general public. So I think these two initiatives were well acknowledged and rewarded.
Thank you so much. For those who haven't seen this campaign, it's a must watch. That's the next phase of AI enablement. I'd like to invite Sushil in here to give his context on technology and well-being.
So, well-being has always been at the center stage, particularly when it comes to manufacturing organizations. The orientation has changed with the advent of technology, and like all other organizations, we too have a tie-up with an EVAP portal called Silver Oak, and which is essentially to take care of all issues with respect to mental wellness or financial wellness and stuff like that, which provides employees an easy access 24/7, and they can reach out, which is nothing but what we've experienced, that employees really feel accepted and wanted in the larger ecosystem. And this is also topped up by counseling support, psychologist support, and stuff like that. One interesting dimension which I noticed, was that it's been in our organization for about a year now.
Right.
What I've seen is that this portal of Silver Oak is being used largely by the Gen Zs, interestingly. And another interesting statistics which came out was that the kind of concerns or anxieties that are actually getting discussed with the counselors or with the psychologists are more to do with off-work issues, So when you are actually stepping into the work, you're already carrying a lot of stress and anxiety. And the work-related stress and anxiety is very little. That was a very interesting, element which actually came out of it. The other technology piece that we have been using is that, we have introduced, an app which is called as the 24 response. And this 24 response is something which takes care of employees beyond the workplace as well for any emergency situations. So it could be a personal emergency. Let's say you're stuck in the rain, or your car is broken down, you got a flat tire,
Right.
you lost keys at home, you need emergency medicine at 4 in the morning. So this system works very fast. So within 30
Awesome.
minutes, employees have access to that.
That's very good. Amazing. So what we're hearing from all the panelists is well-being is holistic. It's not just about mental or physical. There's the social aspect to it, and there's the financial aspect to it. So if we are able to address that at a first level, or even level 2 with technology, we can then bring in the human touch to make it more effective. In this context, in fact, Narayana Healthcare, also someone was sharing, has this initiative which they have called Sampark, Samriddhi and Samvad, catering to all aspects of well-being. Now I bring up this next topic. We're going to talk about impact of technology on new hiring, training and onboarding. And I invite Sushil to start the conversation. Do share your experience on digital tools and its benefits for new hiring, training and onboarding, please.
My experience with technology is about 10, 12 years old. And in the sense, I have seen and experienced a variety of tools that have been deployed at the workplace, starting with an SAP HCM to SAP, SuccessFactors to Darwinbox. And, somehow, whenever we talk to people, we always feel that bringing in technology at the workplace is like the end of the story. But honestly, actually, it's the beginning of the journey. So implementation is just one milestone that you've achieved. The real challenge lies in, in driving adoption of the technology that you've deployed. Because at the center stage of all of this is driving employee experience, and that can happen only if you've been able to, drive adoption. And that also is not a very easy ask, by the way. So when we talk about adoption, it is about your capability to articulate the value proposition of each module very precisely to each stakeholder segment in the organization. So let's say, I have a PMS module running on the system. So what is a PMS? So usually the employees feel that, this is something which HR has brought in to simplify its own work. But they are not able to relate to the fact that how does that help them in their own, managing of their performances there. So it's extremely important that we have to articulate the value proposition, and we must articulate value proposition for each stakeholder segment, for the employee, for the manager, for the leader, for the HR, to make sure that, there is a pull towards technology and there is very little of push. And that is how actually I feel things have worked. And, coming to deployment of technology across, onboarding, and also we have used this very extensively in recruitment. Everything is done seamlessly, no paper involved. Every data, everything is uploaded on the system itself, be it on SuccessFactors or be it on Darwinbox for that matter. You're able to trigger off, your background verification checks and everything. It provides a very beautiful experience to candidates who are getting onboarded in the system.
Right.
And as part of the onboarding also, we run surveys which are kind of AI enabled. So we do a 555, with the Infido tool there, and with SuccessFactors used to do 30, 60, 90. And this is able to actually throw up all kinds of analytics to you in terms of how people are feeling and what proactive actions can be taken there. And on training as well, we have made sure that we deploy the best of the tools there. So in the past in SuccessFactors, we use Skillsoft. Here we are using Cross Knowledge. And it is something which has made the whole learning experience, very seamless for all the employees there.
Right, thank you. I think in just a minute, let's have the other panelists also add on to specifics on impact of technology interface on the well-being of. Rajeev, would you please add on the well-being of people being hired?
I would say that there are tools like DocuSign and Clito, which is a documentation management system, which makes the process very smooth.
Okay.
So I think these kind of tools have really improved the efficiency of the process and the candidate experience.
So are you saying that the candidates have a more seamless experience? Does it save time? Well-being, how is it?
It saves time. I'll tell you that earlier getting an employment letter signed could take anywhere from a week to 10 days, depending on how firstly the different signatories will sign and then the candidate will sign. Now it happens within the day.
All right.
A lot of us also remember the days you used to go and sign up for a new job. You would carry a pack of papers with you for new hire onboarding facilities. Today, Clito does all of that before you come on board.
Right.
So those kind of things, I think, have a definitive impact on experience, which translates to well-being.
Great. Aditya, on well-being of the hiring team, for the hiring team.
So we can't do much about well-being of the hiring team outside of work. So what they do outside is theirs. But if I kind of look at it at work, I'd say it's connect. It's about capacity. It's about capability. Now let me kind of expand. How do they connect? And hiring team, the job is a tough job because they're almost on an asynchronous mode. They are connecting on a weekend. They're connecting when the candidate is available, and that creates. That's a challenge. But what we've tried to do is we've used technology to make sure that that process is streamlined. Also, we've created tools which push data to the managers who are the biggest stress points for a recruiter, where they keep asking statuses. So how do you, on a Friday, statuses go so the manager is up to date and doesn't chase up the recruiter. So that's on Connect. Capacity is how proactively are we looking, and today technology gives you this data in terms of how many recs is a recruiter handling. And I think the biggest benefit a recruiter can get is if you can load balance proactively.
Right.
All right, because so that the work is equally distributed. And we've also seen that when you distribute the work well, the quality of hiring improves dramatically. And the third is capability. How do you keep your recruiters up to date with all the technology that's available and almost sharpened in terms of their skill in the way they're going about doing the thing? So I'd say CCC.
Thank you. Gayatri, would you like to come in on well-being of the employee during onboarding?
I guess, and especially because I'm leading talent acquisition for PepsiCo India, from an onboarding standpoint, I think not just the employee, there's a huge well-being attached to the hiring managers as well. And I'll just put it across in two simple points. Like for anybody who's joining a new organization, for me, when I joined PepsiCo India, everything was flawless, right from my documentation getting uploaded, what Rajeev mentioned, to getting my appointment letters on time, to getting my, employee ID on time, to what I should be expecting on day one. The person I should be connecting with, what are the modules that I will be oriented on. I had a complete visibility of my 30, 60, 90. And for a hiring manager, I mean, they could create a high touch, high personalized connect because they were the ones who were sending us welcome emails. They were the ones who were welcoming us to the organization through an org announcement. They were the ones who were setting up the one-on-ones with our buddy and with all the other relevant stakeholders who were there. So if you see that there's a lot of productivity that is attached, not just to the person who's coming in, because there's a lot of seamless process that is coming in, but even for the hiring managers, they have a complete visibility. Now, from a mindset change, I think HR used to play a very, very important role when we look at traditional HR because they were the ones who were probably working on welcome notes, the orientation plan, the onboarding plan, etc., etc. We have been able to leverage a platform where the ownership of adoption just not lies with HR, but it also lies with the hiring managers, the line functions, and the onboarding agents. There are specific touch points that we have as part of our surveys that we keep doing with our relevant stakeholders on the platform so that if there is a disconnect on the platform, there's an onboarding agent who reaches out to you. Very similar to a banking system when we are using a internet banking We have relationship managers calling us. I think this has really leveraged the whole platform, the whole experience. And while it is a standardized onboarding experience that we all get, it is also a very personalized one.
Thank you. Sunaina, could you please add on your AI enablement?
Yeah, so I'll specifically give example for training, which is learning. Of course, our business is highly knowledge driven. So one has to be really, really updated in terms of, micro, macro economics, environment and all that, and of course regulations. So what we have done is that the Click to Learn is one of our platforms that we developed in-house, of our content partners being upgraded. This platform, what it has done to us is otherwise, what would happen earlier, that people would have information overload, bringing a lot of anxiety to them. So this application creates customized learning paths for the trainees. And depending upon their learning styles and knowledge levels, it would suggest the modules to them. Another initiative is that the Super Intern 2025 that we have recently launched. This again is a AI-driven initiative. It integrates AI in their learning so that to equip them with the industry-ready skills. And it has also helped our permanent, employees reduce their burden in terms of, creating AI initiatives because the tasks have got distributed effectively, and we have almost 40 to 50 interns working on AI-driven initiatives. Wow. So these are the two recent.
Thank you for sharing that. Sushil, could I request you to quickly wrap up the session in terms of AI interface in becoming a norm to enable employee life cycle?
Well, I think, you see, AI has today become a very part and parcel of the regular work life. And we've seen in the previous session as well, when Pooja was talking about the Bata experience. And even here, if we notice, I think AI is very extensively being used. I would like to bring in two specific experiences with AI in my organization here and in my past organizations as well, where it is all about, we were having a town hall where, the employees expressed a concern about, the policies and the systems not being accessible easily. People don't know what's happening.
Yeah, a lot of people complain.
Yeah, so they feel that, HR tries to keep everything very confidential and they're not very transparent about things. We said, okay, let's go transparent with all of it. And we got a bot place there, so we used Infido, and we now have a AI policy chatbot, and which is accessible, available 24/7. And so we used Infido here, and in the past, I've also worked with Lena AI, for a similar policy chatbot. And that has actually created a very positive experience in the organization. Another interesting thing that we are also working on right now is we are just going live with the Darwin Box journey module.
Okay.
Where we are trying to capture moments that matter, and we felt that, there are certain moments in each employee's life cycle which need to be truly celebrated, which truly need to be, managed well to drive that employee experience. So that's something which is happening, very soon. And there is one of the first, moments that we've mapped currently is, in terms of an employee proceeding on maternity leave and coming back. So there is an automatic, nudge which gets triggered to the stakeholders to let them know about, this particular thing happening in the team there. And we are capturing some other moments that matter at this point in time.
Amazing. So guys, AI is here to stay for HR. So who haven't implemented it yet, I would invite them to deliberate and look into it. With this, we move to the third segment of our discussion, which is about engagement and performance. And I'm going to request our esteemed organizers for 5 minutes to wrap this up. When we're talking about engagement, Gallup research shows that businesses with engaged employees are 23% more productive and experience 78% lower absenteeism rates. Now, we all know digital fatigue is a reality. And we all have faced it at some point or the other. So how do I, as an HR leader, improve the social connect in an environment which is constrained with hybrid work or with flexible work options? So that's our topic for discussion here. And I invite Gayatri to open this discussion. how does it impact employee well-being in the organization, and how do you establish this connect?
And very well put, Honey. Digital fatigue does exist. All of us have experienced it during COVID times, for sure. And at some point of time, it will have a huge, huge impact on employee productivity. So at PepsiCo, what we really believe, that it is called 4 C's, okay? Very similar to what Aditya was saying. We are talking about, connecting, creating, collaborating, and celebrating. And for these 4 C's to thrive, I think what is really important for us as an organization is we've outlined a policy which is called Work That Works. And as part of that policy, there are a couple of things that we call out. And especially because we are operating out of India, we also have a lot of remote working employees who are tagged to us from a global standpoint. We call them location-free employees, where we typically emphasize a lot on tech mindfulness. And when we talk of tech mindfulness, it would be elements like how do you leverage PepSocial. So PepSocial is a platform where it allows employees to take a break, collaborate with each other on social media platforms. It kind of integrates all the social media platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, and it allows employees to collaborate amongst each other at an informal level. We also have something called as Focus. I'm sure most of you would have seen it on Microsoft Teams. I think our IT team internally is doing a fab job in letting us know that how do you use Focus to optimize your calendar, okay? We encourage teams during our sessions, especially managers who have larger teams, to look at how can you look at different and diverse ways of operating. Not every meeting has to be a video meeting. Not every meeting has to be a camera must-on meeting. It can be a camera optional meeting. You can have walk and talk conversations. You can have phone conversations, and please do leverage voice notes. So these are a couple of things that we've been doing, Honey.
So next time I won't come on video, I'll use voice notes.
Yeah,
Thank you for that
thank
share.
you so much.
Sunaina, can I request you to talk more about the formal environment that's LinkedIn and how it helps promote social connections?
Definitely.
Quickly in 1 minute,
Yes,
please.
yes. So we have a well-established handle for Bajaj Capital on LinkedIn, and this is the biggest community that we have created over the last few years. And this platform has not only helped us engage with our employees, existing ex-employees, but also with the investor community as a whole, our industry peers, and helping them keep them current vis-a-vis the regulations, the updates, the challenges that the industry is facing as a whole. And all of us know that the markets nowadays, why and how. So it has really helped us create I would say a knowledgeable community who are adding value to even our problems. They are giving solutions. And believe me, when it comes to HR, my best hires are from LinkedIn. We have a dedicated relationship manager from LinkedIn who keeps on giving us talent insights in terms of how the talent is flowing inside out or outside in, about the pulse of people, And it was very heartening to know that 60% of our employees are already engaging with the LinkedIn learning, upgrading themselves, So I think while we are all bullish about AI, just last point I wanted to make a very candid one. I think there is a need to have some regulations around the usage of AI, because
Absolutely.
It really upsets me when I see Mr. Ambani promoting some SMEs and their products, Mr. Modi dancing with Mr. Kejriwal, or people uploading their prescriptions on ChatGPT or medical reports and getting advice. I think we need to have some regulations. What kind of fake world are we creating? I think that's
Sure.
my candid piece.
Thank you, and we'll leave that to the next panel coming in. Sushil, can I request you, while we say personal branding and social media go hand in hand, we would want to know how Meta helps promote social connections within the organization.
So, we've been using Meta and LinkedIn from an employer branding standpoint to a great extent. We very recently kind of re-articulated our employee value proposition, and we thought the best way to socialize potential candidates or the community at large is to use Meta. So we use Facebook, we use Insta, we use WhatsApp, all of it, including LinkedIn, in terms of socialization of our employee value proposition, and we've seen a very good response to it. And the other thing which we are going to go live very shortly is an alumni portal. because we always have felt that our employee who worked with us in the organization are also kind of our brand ambassadors.
Absolutely.
And they are also your potential candidates going forward. We've seen, a lot of Ghar Wapsi people also happening. And we thought, an alumni portal is a good way to connect with that population as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think alumni base is a good base to tap into, especially in times where we're finding retention to be a key challenge. Rajeev, would you like to come in and talk about customized tool in your organization for Social Connect, please? At Sun Life.
We leverage a tool called Applause. This is for social recognition, and it is also used for wishing employees on their birthdays and work anniversaries. And we find that we've actually also transitioned all our monthly, quarterly, annual recognitions also into this platform, and they have points which the employees can redeem. And this again takes away the inequity in the workplace, because like you said, we are operating in a hybrid world. Right. So someone is at office, someone is not in office, so it's become the unifying force in a way for the organization.
Thank you. Aditya, I think you have a different view, so let's hear it from you.
So we've been talking about hybrid, and I moved from an organization which was incredibly flexible to an organization where there were fairly structured times. Right. So I said, this has to change. I'm the new CHRO. Let's kind of do something about it. And I got a team together and I asked them saying, how many of you would want flexibility? And this is what flexibility brings, which is you're connected, you're accessible, or how many of you would want a very structured day where you cut off at a certain time and then nobody pushes you to kind of get on, connect. And behold, the biggest stakeholder group that said, look, we like the structure, were the women. They said, it gives us structure, we come at a certain time, it gives us, once in a while is fine, but that structure really helps us plan our day, plan our life better. Add some amount of flexibility. Yeah. So if we need to kind of cater to our days, we need a little bit flexibility, but the structure helps. So as an organization, we are very, our work timing is structured. We have flexibility. Of course, there are exigencies and other things. You can work from home and others. But yeah, it's a contrarian view.
Thank you. So how many of you want flexible work options at workplace? Can we have a quick raise of hands? Okay. So others want a structured environment and you want to switch off at 5 or 6, right? So I'm afraid that's all the time that we have for today. I would like to thank our panelists for the lovely discussion. It's been a pleasure to host you, and thank you to Business World for hosting this event. The floor is open for questions, or you could connect during the lunch break. Over to you.